Aneel Mussarat, philosopher and founder of MCR Property Group. It was very inspiring night by Purple Network talk about Aneel Mussarat journey through business and how it led him to discovering the importance of networking and serving the community. Report Mia Mirali, Manchester, UK.
Making events where we invite people like Aneel and leaders across the country.
I'd like to extend our special thanks to our brother Aneel for being part of this journey with Human Appeal and the Purple Network.
My name is Yasmin Gill and I work for Human Appeal.
Businessman, born and bred in Manchester, he's the founder of the MCR Property Group, which was established in 1989. Now this is a company that deals with real estate investment and development, focusing on strategic acquisition and requisitioning of commercial, residential, industrial, retail and student accommodation across the UK. Since 1989, MCR has purchased and sold over £4 billion worth of assets in all asset classes. MCR Property Group employs directly and indirectly 1,500 people throughout the UK, with offices in Mayfair, Manchester, Birmingham and Edinburgh. In January 2013, Aneel was awarded the Businessman of the Year award at the British Muslim Awards. Aneel has a registered charity named after his son and late father, the Aneel Mussarat Foundation, which aspires to build homeless shelters across the UK, starting off in Manchester. They provide free accommodation, food and mental health support for the homeless. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Manchester himself, Aneel Mussarat.
Assalamu alaikum, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I'd like to thank Human Appeal for inviting me, giving me this pleasure and honour, and especially Yasmin, who I've known for many years, a couple of decades really, so she twisted my arm, so I think you've got a great asset here in Yasmin.
Where did it all begin? What motivated you? What inspired you to venture into this sector of business?
Jannah, mashallah. So, my father was in the rat trade, and with his estate, my dad's elder brother helped my mother buy 4 houses. So growing up in my teens, I would help my mother look after those houses. My mother was a typical Pakistani housewife with language barriers in the 80s. And being the eldest in the family, I'd go with my mother to collect the rent checks. And as I was getting older, I'd go on the bike or on the bus to collect the rent checks, because my mother wasn't that much inclined towards that business. So as I was growing up, I really enjoyed that aspect of my life. And my dad's elder brother, he was based in Pakistan, Karachi, and he liked real estate, so he'd come to England every year, he'd buy 1 house. So I'd help him buy that house, look after it with him as I was growing up. So I really enjoyed the business, so that's how I got into the property business. So fast forward, when I was 17, I really did very bad at school. First time around, I can remember O-levels, CSCs, I really did pretty bad in them. First time around, I failed them. Second time around, I just about straight through. And I went to 6th form college to do my A-levels. I did 1 term, I just dropped out because I couldn't grasp what was happening, unfortunately. So when I was 18, I bought my first house I just literally bought my first house because I saw my uncle buying the houses. So I bought my first house with a 95% mortgage, and basically I bought it, rented it out, bought a second one. So fast forward between 1989 and 1997 in Manchester, I bought and sold nearly 1,000 houses around the areas that you'll all be familiar with: Gorton, Levenshulme, Openshaw, Longside, Rushen, Withington, Fallowfield, all those areas. Literally knew every single street like the back of my hand. So that is how I got into this business.
That's quite fascinating, to be fair. And I guess you touched upon the first thing you talked about was your father having passed away when you were younger, and that must have been, I guess, one of your key challenges you faced. But could you tell us a little bit more about some of the challenges you sort of come across whilst in this sector, in business, and how you overcome them?
So I have challenges every day, to be honest. So, but the key is you must learn from every single challenge. and see how you can avoid getting into the same space again. That is the key in life, to learn from every single problem you have, deal with it head on, and in a logical fashion, and treat every challenge as an opportunity, how you can avoid it again, because challenges always mean pain, hassle, loss, so avoid that as much as you can, but learn from the challenges, how you can avoid them happening again. That is the key lesson.
And I guess leading on from that a little bit, someone who, you said you talked about your uncle and having seen him buy properties, and so you must have also witnessed the challenges he faced during his time in business. So not just through your own challenges, but did you sort of learn from the challenges others were through observation and try to avoid those? What was your sort of look at?
My uncle is a great guy. He's in his early 80s now. I really owe him a lot. So he was very, very helpful. When I was growing up in 1989, he lent me a lot of money to buy houses, give me deposits, he trusted me. And he's a great father figure. He then became, if people might not remember, but in 1991 there was a big recession. Interest rates went to 15%. The money he lent me, which was a big number, 6-figure number, I lost all of that. He lent me more money again to get back on my feet. And, so he was a great guy, a very hard-working, simple man. He made his money for the hard way. He had a small factory in Pakistan, in Karachi, but he trusted me, so I'll always be indebted to him. But one thing, he was a very wise man, and one thing he taught me, which I will never forget, is a very intelligent person learns from other people's mistakes, but an intelligent person must always learn from his own mistakes. So as long as you learn from your mistakes and deal with them logically and don't repeat them, that is the key. The key in life is to not repeat mistakes the same again. And people unfortunately still do.
I think people we've had the Chancellor of Exchequer giving some key speeches today. What advice would you give to young people who want to invest in property or in business but have these challenges that we're living in the modern age?
So every stage of your life, you must always consider it to be an opportunity, whether it's a good market, a bad market. So if you're going to go into a recession, you must consider it as an opportunity. Look at it from a positive angle. So, if there's challenges, don't be demoralized. People get challenges, people have problems, but don't be demoralized. You've got to pick yourself up. I have, like I said, I've had plenty of hassle in my life, plenty of challenges. As long as you're willing to pick yourself up and go again and learn from your mistakes. And one thing I always say to young people is dream. Dream as high as you can, as big as you can, but you have to put the effort in to fulfill those dreams. So I'm a dreamer, I dream, I've still got plenty of dreams I want to achieve, but you have to put the effort in. So there's no substitute to hard work. Hard work with a focused attitude. A lot of people dream, want to do things, but are not willing to put the effort in. I have I employ a lot of people, or I deal with a lot of people, but they're not willing to put the hard work in. So no pain, no gain.
After so many years in business, how do you stay hungry to grow, to innovate, to aim higher? So how are you still sort of dreaming, as you said, at this stage in your success in your career?
I think there's multiple factors, but number one, I was from a humble background, humble family, simple family, and so that was instilled in me through my mother's side, from my father's side, and then after that, I failed at school, I failed at a lot of places in many aspects of my life, so I really didn't want to fail in my work life. And then when the recession came in 1990 or 2007, I didn't want to fail then. I tried very, very hard to avoid failure, and I managed to avoid failure. And obviously when COVID came, that was another scary part. No one knew what was going to happen in COVID. To just give you an example, I thought when COVID comes, it's going to be another 07, 08 type situation where things are going to be very, very rocky. But you know, through COVID, every day until the first 18 months, I literally worked 7 days a week. I was in the office every single day. And you know, I go in as normal about 7 a.m., half 6, I'm not leave till about 10, 11. There's only me and my FD, finance director, and managing director, and 3 people who are in every day. Other people working from home, but you know, I put the effort in, you have to lead from the front. And so the big factor is fear of failure. I don't want to fail, that's the big drive. And then I meet lots of people, and I think I can do better than them, and I can learn from them, and doors just open, so I want to keep on walking through them. So that's what really drives me. I'll give you an example. I had lunch yesterday with a great guy, great Pakistani, super successful guy, Sir Anwar Pervez, who founded Best One, Best Way, he owns well-known pharmacies, UBL in Pakistan, multiple cement factories. I had the privilege of him taking me out for lunch, and he's 88 years of age, and he's obviously retired now, but he still goes to the office every day to stay mentally active, and he's still got the drive and hunger.
I know Robert Bates is a pioneer of our community and someone we should all
I have encouraged him to come to Manchester, so I've convinced him, so I'm going to fix a dinner. He might say at his age at 88 he can't stay up too late, but he gets tired, but he's going to come for a lunch, hopefully, to Manchester.
Inshallah. Tell us what made you want to sort of venture in there and move that into part of your ethos?
So number one, in our religion, zakat is vital, it's part of our religion. But then on top of that, growing up through my family, through friends, always knew as much as you give, Allah gives you back many folds more. And give as much sadaqah as you can, you get protected. And in reality, I never thought I'd be this lucky. So if I give a little bit back, it does make me feel very good. And I just start to feel the results mentally, physically, wherever I give back, whoever I support, it gives me a lot of happiness. So, like Yasmin just said, I'm building a homeless shelter not very far down the road from me already. So it took us a long time because it's a prime piece of real estate to get planning permission. We've got it now. We've just signed up with the Housing Association. We found an operating partner who's going to operate for us. We're really excited about this homeless charity with, it's going to have about 40 bedrooms in it, food banks, some NHS clinic rooms. So hopefully, I'm looking forward to that. And in Pakistan, I'm building a hospital in Pakistan. So hopefully, I'm very excited about that to give back there because Pakistan's health conditions, I'm sure you live in Pakistan, so the health conditions there are not very good. So it's 200-bed hospitals. So I hope I can build multiple hospitals. And what drove that was, to be quite frank, was Imran Khan was a childhood hero of mine, and the way he's built a hospital. It's not a cancer hospital; it might be a tertiary general hospital. So that really inspired me.
Is networking in the world of business?
Very, very important, vital. I've learned so much from so many people. So I left school at the age of 17, and I've learned from, engaged with so many people. Positive things you have to learn. Try and pick good things out of everybody because everyone's got a lot of good points you can learn from them. As long as you're willing to learn from people, network with people, and networking brings out ideas, opportunities. So, for instance, being Sir Anwar Pervez yesterday, networking, getting ideas from him, and enormous amount of wisdom. So it's great to network with people.
Absolutely, and obviously one of the things we're trying to do at Network is exactly this, to create this platform where we encourage the community to become networkers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already given seed. But when you think of the future, what do you see in it for Aneel?
You see, the future, when I started off in business in 1989, I used to to my bank manager, if I will own 10 houses and £100,000 in the bank, I'm done. My bank manager said, "You'll never get that. If you do achieve that, I'll wash your car for free." And in a jesting way. And so it comes back to the same old story. You keep on dreaming, and if you keep on dreaming, you work hard towards your dreams. You dream with a goal, with a passion. You're willing to put the effort in. Sky is the limit. It all depends on yourself. So it depends on myself, how far I'm willing to push myself. And I think the best is yet to come. I'm not just saying that for the sake of it. I really do think. I'm 52 years of age. I've been working since the age of 17. 35 years of long slog. I've learned so much. And I think the best is really yet to come. Because I feel what I've learned in the last 3 years is not what I've learned. I didn't know. You know, it just feels amazing what I'm learning every day, what I can implement, the vision, the people. I think sky's the limit, it really is.
Amazing.
So how that technique you how you can get the other mistakes and run them.
So I think I've got the gist of your question. As you grow older, you have more wisdom and experience, so the mistakes, the challenges reduce, new issues arise, you can handle them a lot easier, with a lot more wisdom and a lot more patience. And so, because you're in business, you're trying to do things, you're trying to do positive things, you are going to face bumps, but as long as you don't get demoralized by them, you don't feel you've been defeated, you pick yourself up, and then you carry on again. Personally, I don't think I've achieved sufficient to be promoted aggressively. That's my personal opinion. So I feel I could do better. So maybe then, no, honestly, I do feel I could do better, so I'd rather promote when I feel I've done better. Let's be honest.
The question to you, Aneel Sahab, is that what is the price? I mean, you're up there. What is the price one pays in terms of one's soul, one's family, and one's friendships? That's my question.
Okay, so the first, I think there's two questions there. The first question about principle over profit. So there's no substitute to being honest, upfront, straight about everything you do in life. If you're honest, things always fall into place. It's a much longer journey. It's a much more painful journey sometimes, but you definitely get a much better result. So there's no substitute to being honest. And now, trade-off, success versus family time, friendships. So, I said something earlier on, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Life is full of trade-offs, you have to make sacrifices. So I have a choice. If I want to do something, or do I go to work? Do I want to go on a bike ride, go to the cinema?
If a landlord who issues service charges to you and who are very keen to take as much out from you as possible at every opportunity, what is your response?
Back in the day, when I was on the front line in that area of business, I'd be I'd challenge as much as I can. But now I'm heavily reliant upon my colleagues who are many layers in front of me. So I have to rely on their professionalism to do a good job, to be quite frank. But wherever I can operate myself, I try and do the best possible deal, using my wisdom, knowledge, intellect, courage, to try and get the best possible deal. You try and engage with similar people who have the same mindset, and that's in any walk of life. So in the philanthropy world, you try and engage with people who have a similar mindset, and then who have similar aims and vision and willing to put in the same sort of effort. Effort doesn't mean capital, it could be physical energy, experience, wisdom, and then you try and get the best optimum result in order to help the beneficiary, the needy people. So that's how I found to deal with like-minded people. If you look at the whole of the UK, there's an acute shortage of, I presume you're talking about residential here, okay? So in the UK, there's an acute shortage of housing, and the population in the UK is growing rapidly with births, with longer life expectancy, and with migration. So, you know, with the Afghan people, there's been over 30,000 Afghan people who collaborated with the British Armed Services and come into the UK. And now with Ukraine, there's expected anywhere between 250,000 to 500,000 people to migrate here. Then you've got Hong Kong, with the Chinese taking over Hong Kong. Every Hong Kong citizen has been given a British nationality. There's potentially another 3 million people that are finding their way here. And UK's borders are quite easy to enter through, many schemes, as long as you might meet the criteria. So UK's population is going to grow. So there's not enough houses being built in the UK. So that is definitely going to push up prices, rents, which you're seeing now already. So if anybody wants to go into the housing market anywhere in the UK, Manchester, they'll definitely do well, long term. I never ever sold any house I bought. I wish I never ever sold any house I bought. The way values have gone up over the last 35 years. So everything I bought from 1989 to 1997 was primarily focused on Manchester then. They've all gone up 5-10 times. So if I bought a house for say 25,000, it's probably worth $250,000 now. So I wish I just retained it, I didn't sell it. Because you think you're smart, the value's got to make a nice profit, move on. But on reflection, I wish I never did.
You do get number one. Two, how do you keep yourself so cool? I've never, ever, ever seen you angry. Never.
So, number one, there's two questions. The first question is, I'm not on social media. There's 2 or 3 reasons. Number one, I'm quite old-fashioned, so I'm not very tech-savvy. However, and I'm super busy. I get over 300 plus emails daily. I just barely cope with that. And then if I'm on social media, it becomes even more harder. And also, it's just, I've never got into that space. And on WhatsApp, you read so many different things, you don't know what to believe, so social media could be something else. And when I go out for dinner with people, or if I walk around the office, I see all the youngsters, they're always on their iPhones looking at pictures. So that's that number one. And number two, about social media, you said I get attention. Some is negative, some is positive. So one thing I learned quickly is we're human beings, everyone likes a bit of attention, but try to keep your feet on the ground. That's very important. So don't let it get to your head. And number two, the negative parts of social media, what I've learned is people's opinions can be very fickle. They can say one bad thing about you today, and next week they say something good about you. So don't let people's opinions get to you, get to your head. You have to be mentally strong to just block them. And then hopefully, as long as you're on the right side of life, try to do everything every day with a clear conscience, right moral base, everything usually falls into place.
As a grandfather, is it your faith in Allah?
100%. But also, one thing I've learned, whenever I'm wound up, upset, angry, I always make poor decisions in business and personal life. So it's better to try and stay calm. A couple of my colleagues are here. If you stay calm, don't get angry, you make much better decisions. The technological revolution we're seeing is just the beginning. There's so much going to happen in this decade alone. So the youth has an enormous opportunity to take advantage of that. There's so much opportunity out there. So technology is the way forward. In my little way, in my business, I'm trying to get on the e-commerce revolution through warehouses, logistics, but technology is going to run the rest of the century.
Report Mia Mirali, Manchester, UK.